be sad confused, but this afternoon, my honor is to introduce all of you to the world of Project Hail Mary. Are you ready, guys? You are in the right place. How awesome is that trailer, first of all? Let's give it up for that amazing trailer. The very good news is that there is much more where that came from for you guys. You know how you can tell a movie is great, a movie that has the goods? It's when they show up to Comic-Con with a ton of incredible footage. Are you guys ready to watch some more Project Hail Mary today? Yes. Well, clearly the world is ready for this film. The trailer has over 400 million views. The book is back on the New York Times bestseller list, back at the top of the Audible charts, and the movie doesn't even come out until March 20th, 2026, guys. Like I said, you're in the right place. All right, there's some chairs behind me. Should we fill them up, guys? What do you think? Please give a huge welcome to the guy we have to give thanks for this project, the author of Project Hail Mary, a producer on the film. It's Andy Weir. Andy, smartest, coolest filmmakers I know. It's the directors and producers of Project Hail Mary, Chris Miller and Phil Lord. And to the producer and star of the film, it's Ryan Gosling, everybody.
Hall H.
I apologize for the lack of enthusiasm.
You're literally me.
Hey, they just had lunch. Guys, the longer you cheer, the less we can show you, okay? Brian, I want to start with you. Mr. Gosling, it's good to see you. Welcome back to Hall H. Look, I heard you were the first to be sent Project Hail Mary to both star and produce. We want to know how you got involved in this. How did you land in this one?
Ryan, answer. Yes, I was sent the manuscript from the greatest sci-fi mind of our time. And he's sitting next to me. No pressure. I knew it would be brilliant because it's Andy, but nothing could prepare me for what he had come up with this time. And it took me places I've never been. It showed me things I had never seen. It was as heartbreaking as it was funny. And I was, not just blown away, but also overwhelmed because, this story is about a scared guy who has to do something impossible. Now, I was a scared guy who had to do something impossible, just like try and turn this into a movie. So I called Andy. We became blood brothers.
Yeah.
Not really, it was a phone call.
Yeah.
But we would have.
It would have, It was a 20-minute phone call, but
Yeah,
basically...
it was like kind of blood brothers, right?
Yeah, similar.
And, what do you do when you need to do something impossible? You get Amy Pascal to produce it with you, and you try and get the only two visionary directors that could bring this to life to talk to you. It's not even fair to call them directors, like visionaries, they're more like wizards.
They're magicians, they've got magic on their side.
Yes. And, we were off to see the wizards, but they had already read it, already loved it, and we were off to the races, but we needed one more thing, Josh. Do you know what that was? We needed a hero. So we threw up the bat signal, and the Dark Knight himself came aboard to help us work the same magic he did on The Martian, and we all went on this journey across the universe, and we're back, not in Hall B, not in Hall C. What hall are we in?
What's the H
show you-
for?
It's for Harwood.
Hall.
It's for Hail Mary.
That was the strangest call and response I've ever heard.
I do the call and the response.
Chris and Phil, the Dark Wizards, the Light Wizards behind this. Talk to
I don't
me.
have a cowl.
Yes, give it up for Chris and Phil, guys. Give it up. So Ryan's on board, Amy's on board. You guys get involved. Talk to us about the beginning of your journey with this one.
Well, our producing partner and lifelong friend Aditya Sood discovered Andy as a self-published novelist and helped produce The Martian. And he gives us this book and says, "This is your next movie." And he was right.
I read
Very
it.
confident.
I ended up reading it in one sitting. I stayed up till 4 in the morning, so I had to know how it ended. I got so sucked in by the book and the story, and everything about it was incredible. And we've been wanting to do something with Ryan for a long time, and this was like the perfect opportunity, and it was so great. The movie is about collaboration, and this was like the most rewarding creative collaboration of our careers.
Amazing.
Facts.
Mr. Andy Weir, is this your first time on stage at Hall H?
It's my first time on stage here, yeah.
Welcome.
Overdue. Thank you. I did attend the Deadpool screening back when that came out, but this is my first time up on this side.
Amazing. Welcome. Well deserved. Long overdue. Talk to me about, this must have been mind-bogglingly exciting to see this team behind the scenes to come together.
It was amazing. It was just like everything lined up perfectly. I couldn't ask for better talent in every aspect of it. I mean, the best directors, best actor, best screenplay. We waited for Drew. Like, I don't know if we told you that, but Drew was working on something else, and so we had to just wait several months for him to finish that. We could have gotten another screenwriter, but we didn't want another screenwriter. We wanted Drew. And so we got Drew, everything, and it was just so cool. Just watching everything come together and come to life, and seeing Ryan give like so many layers to this character that I made up. I'm like, wow, that character is pretty cool. I didn't even realize how awesome that character is. And then just the way, because I don't want to brag, but I've seen cuts of the film, and it's really good, guys.
How is it?
It's really good. It's really good. And so these guys, I mean, they're amazing directors. Everybody knows that, but I'm just going to restate it. I couldn't be happier with how things turned out.
Awesome. Okay, so look, obviously, a lot of folks do know the story of this. They've read the book, but
They saw the trailer.
They've just seen the trailer. But what do you want to say about the story of Project Hail Mary, guys?
I mean, really, it's a story about connection. It's about hopefulness and about humanity. At the end of the day, it's a very emotional story, and it's a really emotional movie.
And it answers the question that if the universe depended on it, can adult men make friends?
It takes that, right? It's pretty extreme.
Big stakes.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Wait till March for the answer.
Should we?
But it
listen
seems
to the-
weird to describe something like we were reading a Garfield comic strip out loud.
Right.
So why don't we open up the app and just show you the first 5 minutes of the movie?
I was going to say, my preamble, I'll be bad cop. The good news is, guys, you're 6,500 of the most devoted fans. Talk to me about adapting this. I mean, this is a beloved book. What are the key elements in adapting this for you? What did you need to capture?
I'm a little embarrassed to admit this here. I have not read the book yet. I was going to last night because I knew we'd be talking about it, but there was a Percy Jackson installation over there, and they'll just let you keep going through it as much as you want. No, guys, I've read the book. How many? By the way, let's get a sense of our audience here. How many of you have read the book? All right, so you guys know it's got all the hallmarks of an Andy Weir masterpiece, right? It's got that deft blend of science fact and science fiction. It's got those sort of epic, global, cosmic stakes in storytelling. It's got that blend of comedy and humor. But for me, the thing that I connect to and I've always connected to with Andy's work is the soul of his writing. And for this movie, to me, this movie is about the power of science, the power of teaching, the power of learning. It speaks to who we are as a people and who we can be. And I think, for me at least, the movie is about the ability of empathy and compassion to change the world. And so that's what holds me to it. When I read it, Josh, it was very much like, oh, I want to spend the next 5 years of my life working on this. And here we are. I couldn't be happier.
Amazing. Andy, look, this all starts with you, obviously. You are, of course, the author. You're also a producer on this, and I know you were on set quite a bit. Can you talk a little bit about working with Phil and Chris and making sure of getting the science right, how important that was?
It was awesome. I mean, I got to be a big shot. I got to go around and it was so cool because like my job was just going around and looking at stuff, and then pretty much every day, Phil or Chris would say like, "Oh, Andy, we need to know like what would the exact velocity of the ship be at this point during the story because it's going to be on a display in the background, and we want it to be right." So just know that even if it's like blurry and out of focus, any numbers you see on a whiteboard or on a screen, I put hours into making those be correct. So they were every bit, yeah. So the guys are every bit as much, and Ryan as well, every bit as much a stickler for scientific accuracy as I've ever been when writing my book. So I was amongst my people. I mean, for a nerd like me to spend all day looking at amazing sets and then have math problems given to me, it just doesn't get better.
I mean, you talk about the amazing sets. Look, they just saw the footage. It's very clear from the trailer and the footage, the production, the design, the cinematography. Greg Fraser, obviously, is your DP. Talk about the amazing behind-the-scenes team that you guys were able to assemble.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a murderer's row, right, of people on this stage and a murderer's row of people behind the camera, starting with Greg Fraser, who is like the ultimate like rock star cowboy DP, right?
We got our head of VFX supervisor, worked with him on the Dune movies and has 4 Academy Awards, and is here today, Mr. Paul Lambert.
There he is.
And
the two of them would sit around on set and look at each other and go, "This is the most complex movie we have ever made, and we made 2 Dunes."
we had like Charlie Wood, who was the production designer, built all these sets. We had to build an entire spaceship in 2 modes of gravity. And then we built this entire massive tunnel. The scale of this is insane. We built a tunnel that was like 100 feet long, filled up an entire stage. And because it was rotating, we wanted the light of the sun to bleed through all around. And so they built this array of lights that took so much power it had to take power from 2 other sound stages. They had to build a bridge to get the wires just to have enough power to light this one set. That's how like crazy ambitious this movie was.
We have an energy crisis because of this film, guys.
Sorry.
It was shot in England, so it's fine. It's fine.
I meant England has an energy crisis. Whatever.
They're used to being cold.
Look, Ryan, you've played your fair share of heroes over the years, but you have. Ryland, I mean, Grace is a reluctant hero, though, to say the least. You talked a little bit about this, but can you talk a little more about how you connected with him as a reluctant hero, as a character?
I connected to his reluctance. I'm reluctant to answer this question, honestly. But I think that, that's what made the character so, aside from the fact that he has a doctorate in molecular biology, he's quite an ordinary person and in this extraordinary situation. And I think what's so inspiring about him is that he reacts to a lot of things as I feel like I might, or a lot of us might, and he's terrified appropriately of the task at hand. And because he's somebody who on Earth had given up on himself and has been given this opportunity to believe in himself again. And it's inspiring to watch him and to go through this journey with him, because it really is, he somehow finds a way to find the courage to put one foot after the other and keep going.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I have a lot more questions.
But let's talk more rock. We want to show us more stuff?
Yeah, let's show more stuff.
All right.
Let's show more stuff.
All right, we'll show you. I'm not going to say the word yet. I'm not going to Shabba.
Say it too soon.
Then suddenly
Doesn't work.
Miss the context.
Yeah.
All right, this is a scene
Like
after.
any incantation, you got to build up to it.
This is a scene after Eva Stratt, played by the amazing Sandra Hüller. That's right. Has showed up at the middle school where Ryland Grace works, and is found because he wrote a paper suggesting that there doesn't need to be water-based life forms. And so she wants him to help find out what's going on with a mysterious substance that seems to be dimming the sun.
So I'm always trying to get better as a writer, because I think everybody wants to get better at what they do. And so my first book, The Martian, Mark Watney, was really just me, is just my personality with all the good parts magnified and all the bad parts erased. So he's not a neurotic mess. He doesn't have to take medication to fly. He's fine. But I'm kind of smart. He's really smart. I'm kind of funny. He's really funny. Okay. Then my second book, which no one read, Artemis.
I read it.
So the main character of that is again me, because when you think 26-year-old Saudi woman, you think Andy. But no, but she really is, her personality is based on the way I was when I was in my early 20s, which was like immature for my age, my own worst enemy, making bad decisions, and so on. So she's been, somebody went, woo. Yeah, bad decisions. Yeah, bad decisions make good stories. So, but then for Ryland, it was the first time I ever said, like, okay, instead of just basing a character on myself, I'm going to try to create a character out of whole cloth. This is not going to be just a reflection of my own personality. Of course, my own personality comes through. It does with every writer. But I wanted to make a character from scratch and say, okay, who is this guy? What drives him? What motivates him? How does he feel internally, externally? What does he put out into the world? And so that was kind of that was a real reach for me. For other writers, it's like, oh, they can make characters all day. For me, I'm such a plot and science-driven guy that making a personality out of scratch was a real challenge. But I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And what's awesome is having Ryan play him he brought like so many more layers to Ryland than I ever wrote into it. Now I'm going to get credit for all of that as the creator, and no one's going to realize how much of that is just Ryan, adding to the character. So thanks, Ryan, for making me look so good.
So, biggest takeaway of this panel, if you have the opportunity, hire Ryan Gosling. He will make you look good and smart.
That's all you have to do.
Always true.
I don't think that was like a mystery. I think people knew that.
Drew, talk a little bit about, look, the stakes could not possibly be bigger in a story like this. Literally the potential end of humanity, of the world, and yet you also have to balance humor. Can you talk about the challenge and opportunity that poses for you as a writer?
Yeah, I mean, Josh, you know, like I've been getting asked this question my entire career. In fact, 20 years ago, I'm on this stage, and people are asking me, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer a comedy or is it drama? And I'll give you this, God bless you, first of all. I'll give you the same answer I gave them, which is, I don't care. I don't know, I don't care. I feel like we can do both. And I think that's the thing that unites all of us on stage. I mean, have you seen a Ryan Gosling performance that doesn't make you laugh so hard you don't fall on the floor and then break your heart and put you in tears? It doesn't happen. That's what Chris and Phil do effortlessly. It's the core of Andy's book. I believe as people, our lives are dramatic and our lives are comedic every single day. And if we just hold to that and trust that, we can do both and no one's going to question it.
I mean, exactly, yeah. And it is perfect for you guys. Look, anybody that knows your careers knows not only the big swings from animation to live action, but mixing drama and comedy and heart and heroes and reluctant heroes. You obviously are attracted to that kind of mashup, and this feels perfect for that. Can you talk about, I don't know, just tackling that mix of genre?
I mean, it doesn't really feel like a mashup because I feel like things are funnier if it comes from a real emotion. And I think we always start with what's the emotional heart of the film. And the thing about this movie is a massive emotional journey. And everyone who sees it in its early form is like, the first thing they say is, I didn't realize how emotional it was going to be. And that's what makes it funny. Because if you don't care, it's not funny.
Right, people say like, how do you balance these things? But it's a strange question to us because it's funny because it's emotional, right? Like these things are not in opposition.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like I've never had a dramatic moment in my life that wasn't weird and funny. I've never had like, you know, like that's when you laugh the hardest, that's when you need the jokes the most, you know, when you're scared. That's when people tell the most jokes. So I feel like, you know, so they can feel comfortable. So I don't understand why they don't belong together. At least that's the way it is in life, as Drew was saying.
Yeah. So,
Well, I also just want to add that when I first started in making like independent films, anytime something, or a lot of films, anytime something funny would happen, they would cut. And then they would say, oh, let's do it again, sorry. We would all, you know, and it was like, nothing funny happens here. Nothing funny happens in this story or in this world, you know? And so I just think that's also why it's such a dream to work with all of these people, because they look for it, they encourage it, and they find this way to sort of marry the two, and it feels more truthful, really, like more like life.
Yeah, when something funny happens, we roll out on a 40-minute take.
Yeah.
keep going. I mean, the journey that Grace goes on, Ryland Grace goes on in this is remarkable, both like metaphorically, literally. We saw him in the first few minutes of this film. I mean, I don't know, can you speak to that evolution of Grace as a character?
Yeah, well, he goes through such an emotional journey, a personal journey. He evolves in so many ways. But yeah, as you saw in the first scene, he wakes up out of this, out of cryo, and you may have noted that he looked like a space caveman, and he's sort of like in this placenta onesie thing that I hope to be seeing at Comic-Con one of these days. That's my dream.
Sure,
Placenta onesie, please.
See you all here next year, 6,000 of you in placenta onesies, right?
I really like this guy.
Yeah, I really like this guy. I really like him. You guys are awesome. So he evolves in all of these ways, but eventually, so he's sort of like a Matushka doll. We sort of try to create these different layers to him as he's evolving from a space caveman to a space person that needs to do some really important stuff. And this scene in particular, I think that's tossed to the zero-G scene, is the first time that Grace is experiencing zero-G, and it's right at the point in the story where he's sort of realizing that he's going to need to at least try and believe in himself, and the spacecraft stops and he hits zero-G, and I think he handles it pretty well, don't you guys?
Like a champ, like a real champ.
Very stoic, true.
I will say the set was visited by more than one actual astronaut who had been to space, and they watched your footage. You're like, that's a lot more of what it's like.
All right, shall we all do it together?
That's a roll with. You conceive of Rocky in the first place?
Well, I mean, so spoiler alert, there's an alien. So, well, I came up with this biology by starting with a real exoplanet that really exists. And then I said, like, well, what are the conditions on that exoplanet? how can I make there be, a life, a biosphere there, and I worked up from there, and that's how he built his biology. And obviously I got to take creative liberties and do whatever I wanted in terms of like morphology, and so that was really cool. But the main takeaway I decided was I had to start off with saying, like, what is necessary for, if your planet has life, what's necessary for intelligent life, like humanity, to come up, to be able to like get to the point where they have the scientific acumen to make spacecraft and understand their surroundings well enough to deal with an astrophage problem. And I would say there's like 3 core things you need. One of them is you need to have a pack instinct. You need to all have a desire to like collaborate and work together like humans do, and wolves and lots of things, because a single entity by itself would not be able to, in its lifespan, figure everything out to make a spacecraft from, rocks. Okay? The second one is language. If you're gonna have that, you need to be able to communicate information to other members of your pack or whatever, to other members of your species, so that the information that you gather during your lifetime is passed on. And the third thing is you absolutely must have a form of empathy. You must care about the other people in your pack, the other entities. You have to care about them, not just for your own selfish needs, but just an inherent desire to care for your fellow people, whatever species you are. And I believe that, thank you. And I believe that humans have that. We have all 3 of those. Maybe it doesn't feel that way, but hey, I sell positivity, that's my product. And I think that's what's necessary for an intelligent alien species to get into space. So Rocky has all of those qualities.
This relationship is so key, obviously, to this story. True, how do you tackle writing these scenes between Grace and Rocky?
Yeah, I mean, from a screenwriting point of view, this is a nightmare. All right, you have one character, and the other character is a rock, right? And you have to build scenes, and that's all you've got. But of course, that was the very thing, like you all, that I fell in love with. And the challenge actually is the point, building off what Andy was saying. I had a little post-it note on my desk that said, communication is empathy, and empathy is communication. And that sort of dictated every single scene. Like, the undercurrent of every single scene is these 2 characters who are constantly trying to see the world from the other character's point of view. And in that, all the difficulties actually became the point. And I think that that's sort of what I held to, even when I looked at them, the scene's going to be absolutely impossible.
For you, Ryan, look, you've had some amazing screen partners. How does Rocky stack up? I mean, what is this relationship is huge. Talk to me a little bit about that relationship between Grace and Rocky in this.
Pass.
It's not a game show.
Can I pass?
Okay.
It's too soon to talk about Rocky.
It's emotionally, are you okay?
Yes, he's my, friend, and he's not here to speak for himself. So I don't want to give up his secrets.
That's sweet. Frustrating, but sweet. Yeah.
You guys talk about it.
From Emma Stone to Person of Stone. Right now? There we go.
Classic Andy Weir.
So for you guys, how do you approach, I mean, look, all the people that have read the book have their own image of Rocky in their head. So how do you approach, what's your image of Rocky? What's your approach?
One of the things that were really important to us is that the things that Andy created in his book would become like creative provocations to us that we honored. We never wanted to make our lives more convenient by changing something that Andy did.
They always say, like, how do you care about a character that doesn't have eyes or a mouth or a face? And you're like, Pixar made you care about a lamp. It's possible.
Yeah.
You guys.
It's like, have you seen the Muppets?
Yeah.
There's like a guy with like an eyebrow. That's the whole thing.
So we called our friend Neil Scanlon at the Lucasfilm Creature Shop, who we had a wonderful relationship with, and built some amazing aliens and robots with in the past. And we tackled it together, built a practical creature that was puppeteered by an amazing puppeteer named James Ortiz and his team of 5 we called the Rocketeers. And it was amazing having Rocky there on set every day so that we could have a real interaction and shoot the whole thing practically. And ultimately, it's going to end up being a beautiful blend of creature puppetry and animation, and it's really, he comes alive in a way that you would die for this character.
Yeah.
Rocky does not have a face.
Does not have a face.
He has no eyes, he has no
Or
mouth.
not eyes.
He's made of rocks and he has 5 legs with 3 fingers on each leg.
Yeah, and that was the thing, and that was the job with Neil and with James and with the great work that Paul Lambert and his team are doing. It's a real handshake to create this really lovable person out of minerals.
Because what's great about this movie is that there's so many things that make it harder to make. You know, all of the zero-G, all of the centrifugal gravity, all the characters that have to have a wall between them because their atmospheres are different. Everything that a regular movie would be like, oh, we can change that. We were like, anything that makes it harder, we're not going to change. We're stay true to it, and then that difficulty is what makes it interesting and makes it special.
We kept saying like, with respect, this movie is not a Mac, it's a PC, right? Like it's always that, like, the movie is a machine, the ship is a machine. It can be beautiful, it just can't be pretty, right? And this relationship with Ryan and Rocky, Ryan is like one of the things that makes you brilliant as a performer and a creator is your ability to get the most out of people around you. And so that's why it was so important to have like a person or people in the scene with you to like create the spontaneity, so that it gave you the chance to like create that relationship, you know? Like we all, like, this is like a puppetry thing, but like Ryan is the 6th puppeteer because you need a scene partner to like bring those characters to life, because he has to treat it like somebody that's really there and believe it.
We also agreed that no amount of physical discomfort by Ryan was too much. If he has to hang from wires, if he has to be covered in like Vaseline, doesn't matter. Unpleasant prosthetics on it, doesn't matter. We were willing to make that sacrifice.
Yes.
He's the fall guy.
I mean, I know you don't want to talk more about
We got a long
Rocky.
campaign.
Right, but
We want to keep it like somewhat of a mystery, but we do want to show you just a little bit of him.
Would you guys like to meet Rocky?
Right. So knowing, and everything that we're showing you today is all from the first third of the movie. So you know that there's a lot more twists and turns, and as the people who read the book know, there's a lot. The relationship between these two characters is the heart of the movie, and we're just giving you the very beginning of a taste.
All right.
can't come soon enough. Thank you guys so much for bringing the goods today. So much footage just for you guys in this room. 6,500 of our closest friends, what did you think of your first look at Project Hail Mary? Let's hear it. Paul H., give it up one more time for this amazing panel, the creative team behind Project Hail Mary. Drew Goddard, Andy Weir, Bill Ward, Chris Miller,